What are your thoughts on grounding or earthing? We are considering purchasing a grounding mat for my bed. Will this interfere with running the Rife programs? No. So I am very much a fan of doing the grounding. The grounding is very beneficial. I mean, some people go, "Oh, that's just a bunch of fooey." But when you really think of it, it makes all the sense in the world because what grounding is basically you are an antenna. You are a human antenna, and you are picking up um, positively charged ions all day long. So positively charged ions all day long are are attaching to your body. So this is exactly why it's even worse in the winter when the air is dry. You're picking up positively charged ions. Um, that is why when you rub your feet against the carpet and you touch somebody, you can give them a shock because you're distributing those positively charged ions to someone who is less positively charged. They're more have a more negative charge. You've created a more positive charge by rubbing your feet against the ground. Um, that is that is normal. When you go outside and you stand on the ground has negative electrons. So you are discharging those positively charged ions and you're balancing with the negative charge of the ground. So that's the whole idea of grounding. Well, this phenomena is known in electricity as well, and it's helpful so that you don't get a shock with your appliances when you have a charge going through them to produce electricity. So back in the 50s, they came up with grounding your electrical houses, your electrical system in your house. And that third little thing is your ground. That goes back to the breaker box and hopefully is connected to a copper wire that then goes outside and is wrapped around a copper post that is pounded into the ground. You should have a half-inch copper rod that's pounded several feet into the ground so that your electrical system is completely grounded. So if your electrical system is grounded, then you're less apt to get a shock with your appliances. It's safer for your electrical system in your house. Well, it's the same thing with our bodies. So if you can ground yourself, since you're standing on a wooden floor, carpeted floor, or something like that, you're not getting that doesn't have a negative electron charge. So you're not grounding yourself. So if you can plug in something like this to the wall, to the ground of your electrical outlet, that will then sense have a copper wire that goes all the way back to the breaker box that then goes out to the ground that is pounded in copper tube that's pounded into the ground. In a very real sense, discharge your positively charged ions into the ground that way. It does work electrically. This picture shows how I don't want you to put on a um, a grounding sheet. So this is how, if you don't have a Rife, this would be the right way if you're the only person being grounded. If you don't have a partner sleeping next to you, be kind of selfish if you just did it this way and left your partner ungrounded. But if you didn't have a partner sleeping next to you, you could put a grounding sheet on this way. If this is a half sheet, you put it on this way. You would be completely grounded all night long. You're sleeping on this sheet, and it's going back to the breaker box, going back to the ground in the ground. So you're discharging the positively charged ions. I tell people, though, if you have a Rife, put it on this way, put it sideways. So it's just on the lower half of your bed. Put the grounding sheet sideways so it's on the lower half of your bed across the whole bed. Even if you don't have a partner, do it that way so that um, you are getting the grounding benefits of a grounding sheet, but typically you don't like this is put on over the mattress here, but then we would put the fitted sheet over the top of that. So it's put underneath your fitted sheet, but put it on the lower half of your bed across the whole bed. That way you're not losing your frequencies to the grounding mat. And you're still getting the benefits of grounding. Now, a lot of people will use a grounding mat on their chair. Let's say if they sit there, they work from home and they're sitting in a certain chair all the time, or they spend a lot of time sitting in a chair, they'll use a grounding mat on that chair. You could do that way too. You do get grounding when you pet your animal, because if your animal goes outside, if you have a dog or a cat that goes outside, because that dog or cat or horse or pet donkey that you have then is going out standing with all four of his feet or hooves on the ground, discharging any positive charged ions. He's full of good negative ions, and then you pet him, and then you discharge your positive ions onto the animal. Well, that's not good for the animal. Well, it's creating a completely inner charge because it's balanced out, and the dog goes back outside again, so you're not hurting the animal. So that's why animals can be really good for you. Now, if your pet cat never goes outside, it's never getting grounded, so that's not helpful. So, but if you have an animal that does go outside, it's very helpful. We've spoken about this in the past. This is why I think horse therapy is very beneficial. You take a autistic child and you put them on a horse and they just seem to calm right down. Well, that horse is discharging a lot of negative electrons onto the child and really helping balance the brain waves of the child. Horse therapy can be beneficial for people that have been emotionally wounded with traumas as well, and it does have to do with that negative electron discharge. Also, animals can sense when a person is injured mentally, either emotionally, and that can be beneficial too. So grounding pads, grounding sheets, grounding chairs, grounding different things like that can be extremely helpful and beneficial. We do have them for sale in our store, and we actually have a Ground Me bundle on sale right now. I've had it on sale for quite a while, but you could look at that too.